Go.
Hi, my name is Patrick Finney, and this is a little small, a little show that I'm hanging these pieces, and you'll get an idea of the kind of work I do. This one here, this piece here, is basically a cityscape. There's some men in black. I'm standing here. There's some trains, which I love. Some, the gate and the lights and so on and so forth, and the buildings in the background and weird sky, and and I'm standing there kind of wondering what I'm doing there, and wondering what I'm doing there, and I don't know, there's not much I can say about that other than the fact that it's I don't know what my state of mind is right now in this piece, but that's kind of for you to figure out, because I sort of feel that art should be interpreted by the person looking at the art. That's their relationship with the piece of art. So we'll move on to the next one here. Now, of course, this one here might be considered a little controversial. This is called the Shapeshifter, and as some of you may know, some of you may not know, some of you don't want to know, but there are shapeshifters out there. After all, the reptilians, the Draco, whatever you want to call them, have been on planet Earth a lot longer than human beings, and they've been at war with most of the people in this particular galaxy and other galaxies and other planets, because they are a warlike, controlling, malevolent group of ETs. And what they've done recently is figured out a way to shapeshift and turn themselves into a human form, so it doesn't scare the rest of the humans. And apparently they have been seen in many instances, this has been caught on video, actually shape-shifting and turning into the next, into their actual three-dimensional form, which is probably pretty hideous. And this is just one interpretation of what they may look like. But the fact of the matter is, even though they may not be in their reptilian incarnation, they may be in just looking like regular humans, they've kind of morphed into that particular thing. They're still spiritually just as creepy in this form as in this form, and they do all kinds of nasty things. They're pedophiles, they're power freaks, they're money junkies, they're everything you can imagine that's not good and not healthy, and this is what they do. This, of course, has an eerie resemblance to the Pope, or the last Pope, not the one now, but the one before that, Ratzinger, who was, as many of you might know, was a member of the Nazi Party. He was a member of the brown shirts and had some other connections with the Nazis, and after all, the Vatican was responsible for smuggling the Nazis out towards the end of the war through the Vatican and eventually into areas in Central and South America. That doesn't include Operation Paperclip. The next piece here is...
Hold on, let's zoom in and get a little close up of the...
Okay, this next piece here I call No Child Left Behind. Well, that's just a euphemism for controlling us through tests and I guess it's called rote feeding us information when we're in school, elementary school, middle school, high school, and college, is that they continue to feed us information to make us obedient slaves. And now what they're doing is they're administering all kinds of vaccines to kids when they're very young, and medicating them and calling them all crazy, so we have to give you this medication. It's just another apparatus to control us, to keep us as slaves, so that the parasite class can have this parasitical relationship with us until we die. That's how they operate, and this is just kind of illustrates that. The kid just wants to be a kid. He wants to ride his bike and have fun, but no, they have to fill him full of some really bad shit, and that's how they manage to, one of their methods for control. This one over here is our buddy Henry Kissinger, which you all know, and here he's eating a Bilderburger. Well, for those who don't know anything about the Bilderburgers, in the Netherlands there was they were very much in bed with the Nazis during World War II. There was Prince Barnard and his sleazy wife, I can't remember what her name was, and he organized this group. It wasn't a think tank, it was an actual group of people, world leaders from all over the planet. They would get together and they'd figure out how to divide up the world, sort of like having a big pie, and you get this piece and you get this piece, and they figure it all out, and they sort of plan out exactly what's going to happen for the next few years. They don't consult us, of course. They don't tell us about their plans. They don't ask us if it's all right to do this or all right to do that. They just do it. And the first meeting that they had of all these world leaders was at the Bilderberger hotel in someplace in the Netherlands. I can't remember the name of the place. And then after that, subsequent to that, year after year after year after year, and they have these meetings every year of all these world leaders and heads of state and these industrial guys. What do you call them? The bankers and the industrial giants and all those people, the Rockefellers and so on and so forth, and they all meet and they get together and they have meetings, and they meet in very, very fancy hotels all over over most of Western Europe and the United States, and they're still called the Bilderberg Group, even though, and the reason of that is what I just explained. This is the Bilderberg Hotel, which is the location of the very first Bilderberg meeting. These are nasty people too. They are really the dregs of political and economics. So anyway, so that's what that's about, and so this is the manifestation of okay, here we have a piece here, and there's one particular person that has a name. Her name is Pollyanna Cheese. And these people have been obviously incarcerated. They're in irons, and they're in a dungeon, and they really haven't done anything other than the fact that maybe they've talked about conspiracies, or they have ideas that don't conform to the status quo. They have they're not. They're not working with the consensus reality. They're they're outside the box. And so therefore, in possibly the very near future, that's what we'll be doing with people. We'll be putting them into FEMA camps, incarcerating them, and labeling them as crazy, as weirdos, because somebody who does think out the box is obviously a threat to the status quo. And so she talks to these people. They lower, this is a monitor, television monitor, and they lower it down, and these guys get their little lecture every night by Pollyanna Cheese, and then that television monitor that goes back up, and they're in this dungeon chained to the wall or the whatever contraption they have down there, and they can think about the sins that they've committed, which is basically thinking as free people, thinking as free men. And so that's kind of how that works, and so it's a political statement, I'm sure. And we're going to go on right now. We're going to go on to the next group of pieces, and I guess you can kill that.